Make sure nobody sees you leave. I saw that and I was like, no, pause. I think you should come if we could get in the car and like, it's a very sad song. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Agape Like the Love. If you're new here, then hi, welcome. This is a safe space, but if you're not, thank you so much for clicking on my video. As you can tell by the title, oh my goodness, as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be doing a folklore reset. I want to share my thoughts with this project. So without any further ado, keep on watching. I think this song is so emotive in the sense that, like, we were something, don't you think so? In the sense of, like, you know in your heart that this person is like the person for you and you want them to be the quote-unquote one, and then you almost need that reassurance. It's like, we were something, don't you think so? Like almost like you can admit though that, like, we were something. It's another day waking up. Will everything be different today? Surely something could have happened that they could have eventually, that like they could have been the love of your life. So like, if one thing had been different, would everything be different today? So maybe there was a decision that I made or a path that I took that didn't get me to the certain destination that I am, right? Because I'm not with that person. So it's this idea of yeah, probability and chance, because we're meant to try and like aspire to getting that one person. That's what I took from the song. Like, so many things could possibly go wrong, and then you aren't with that person. So little things like that I love, like rose blows with your chosen family, right? So rose, you're drinking champagne, sweet stuff, like little things like that, that's just nice and it's cute. And again, you're in the, when I hear that, I think of the imagery, I think of like you're at a celebration, you may be at an engagement party, you may be like just celebrating or being with family that you thought, this could have been my family, right? And so yeah, it's the idea of probability, the idea of longing. Yeah, the one is just great. Gosh, so like, yeah, I didn't catch on the whole little like 3-part thing, right? But it's interesting, it's so clear in the lyrics, right? The chase two girls, lose the one. This is, cardigan is from the perspective of the person that's being cheated on, right? But it's a new different perspective, because when they are young they assume you know nothing. So we get that it's more from like a wiser, more mature sense, right? This didn't happen now, this is more like upon reflection, upon like this happened. Again, when they are young they assume you know nothing, in the sense of almost like you thought I didn't catch what was happening, but I did now. So it's this vivid imagery of like hurt as well. And the thing is that, and when I felt like I wasn't on cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. It's like I get so iffy about, because we know that this person has been cheated on, right? But they still feel a sense of like, safety net around that person, because they're the one, that person was the one that told them that like, oh, you're beautiful, I feel undesirable, but you put me on and told me I was your favorite, like you chose me, like you valued me in a sense. So it's this weird thing of like, even though they in a sense appreciate you, their actions show that they really didn't. But I like that we get it from a more wiser perspective, right? Yeah, so you drew stars around my scars and now I'm bleeding. That's why we get the idea of like the cardigan, you put me on and said I was your favorite, right? So you thinking, oh my goodness, this is a great thing, they drew stars on your scars. You have scars, right? Stars is this beautiful thing of you being desirable to them, right? But your scars, you don't know if your scars are healed, right? And now I'm bleeding. Like, you thought, I thought that this was supposed to be something that was enhancing my life, but it's damaging, and now I'm bleeding and I'm just left here because you're not with me. So like it's illicit. Two things can be true, as Taylor Swift said, two things can be true.
Middle class divorce, and they said, there goes the last great American dynasty.
This song, I have such a complex relationship with it. It's so funny. So when I first heard it, I know it was about, because we find out at the end of the song, right, storytelling, right, we find out at the end of the song that this is the house that Taylor Swift now lives in. So we get a beautiful imagery of like the storytelling of what happens in that relationship, like the doctor telling them keep quiet, you're having too many parties, right. We hear that. We also know that it's about Rebecca and Bill Harkness that used to live in Taylor Swift's house, right? But I really appreciate that.
She had a marvelous time, ruining everything.
This,
and it was bought by
me. Please, I'm done. The switch, I really love when they do those little like flip. It's like, it reminds me of, like, you know, in The Moment I Knew, when you realize this was her party, he didn't show up to a party, then you're like, what the heck, this changes everything. I love moments that we have like that, and Taylor Swift is very good at being able to do that, center us again. She's like, oh yeah, you think you know this, but you actually don't, and then she flips it on us. It's very beautiful storytelling. I enjoy moments like those. We don't get them often, but when we do get them, you can relish and you can revel in when that is the case. And then she changes the perspective. Then it was bought by me, because you hear previously in the song when it talks about like the parties are too loud and all of this and all of this, and even though Taylor isn't a divorcee, she's been known to be in different relationships, and so she's able to tie the parallels to the story of these people who used to live in this house, right, to her own life, but do it in a way in which we can still find like relatability. Like, even though this old lady, themes still stay themes, and these things are still relevant, right? So it's so interesting.
Laughing, but the joke's not funny at all.
Okay guys, this song is the definition of gets better with time. If you struggled with Exile a little bit, I loved Exile when I first heard it, but now I'm even more obsessed. So step right out. This song, cry I could do for this time. I didn't even see the signs. Are you kidding me? I'm upset. Oh my gosh, no guys, this song is like so powerful. It's like this weird idea, like a very interesting way to do a very interesting way to portray the all the different feelings about the breakup, right? You noticing the patterns, and you noticing that no, this has happened, and now it's time to now it's time to actually take myself out of the situation, because this feels like a reoccurring thing that keeps on happening. And when you can notice patterns in previous like relationships that you've been in, that's also very scary, but you didn't even see the signs. So like this idea of like red flagging and noticing again patterns, but you are my homeland. So it's this idea of like being safe in a relationship, but also not even safe, just being comfortable, and then you not leaving. Like, no guys, no, like no, that song, and it gets better, and it gets, oh, no, didn't even see the signs. No guys, the duet, the going back and forth, the almost echoing, almost like call and answer that they do, as like no. No, Exile kills me, you guys. Exile, like, no. I think I've seen this film before and I did not like the ending. And I also think it's funny how people have used that in almost like a meme way. No, Exile is beautiful. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the way? This is not therapy, but you know what, it comes very close. Taylor did a very beautiful way of being able to tie again, like the song was very, I thought it was a very complex song when I heard it, right? And again, this is Taylor Swift's 5th song, so you know Taylor about to go down, right, with her 5th song. It's a very important placement, we know this all too well. No, it's a very important placement of the song, right? But also the idea of how she was able to tie in the connections with her legal rights, and like connecting that to somebody who's you at someone's wake. It's like their funeral babes. So it's this very weird, it's a very weird, or like I would even say perfect metaphor of you not like, almost like, because she didn't own the rights to the songs, right? So almost like you did. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's a bit much. Just, and the thing is, you did, but you're watching it happen and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the part that gets me. Like, they're at your wake, they're just there, but there's nothing you can do about it because you're dead. But in Taylor's sense, she doesn't have ownership of her music anymore, and she doesn't have ownership of any of this. And granted, now she's doing the re-recordings. It's a very heavy a very heavy way of discussing something that's so personal. And I think that's why it hit the way it did.
I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. Wondered, should I stay and turn into your worst fears?
So they're like, you had to kill me, but it killed you just the same. Now Taylor's doing the re-recording, babes. You're gonna lose anyway. Like, you are going to lose regardless. No one's winning in this game, hey? You play stupid games, you win very stupid prizes. Very stupid prizes.
Shining just for you.
I wanted you to know I'm a mirrorball. This song, again, very complex, very, when you first hear it, you're not going to catch a lot of things, and maybe even now, after so many listens, I still don't completely fully get it. And maybe that's the beauty in songwriting, hey? Like, there's so many gems that are in there, right? We know it's a sense of Taylor's self-awareness and pleasing other people, right? So it could tie into her general life. It could tie into being this Taylor's this like cookie cutter, like Taylor Swift as a brand name, right? As a brand has always been seen as this cookie cuttery woman that became like girl boss, like. But then we had a drastic but significant change, right, in the image, in her perception. So it could also tie into like the idea of appealing to other people, not just like people that she's close with, but shining just for you. It does seem quite personal, right? But it could also be reflective of just like her in her career and the public and stuff like that. But it does seem very personal. Shining just for you. Yeah. Exactly, I can change everything about me to fit in. Very much trying to, it's super reflective, right? And we love a queen that's self-aware, but it's like very much pleasing other people that Taylor is consciously doing. I can show you all the thing, like she's consciously making these decisions to present herself in a way in which she thinks that other people are going to you, though I shouldn't say other people, to maybe a certain person. It's very evident in the way that she sings it and the words she uses.
Me in the trees.
7 makes me cry. 7 makes me cry. So okay, 7 makes me cry because I feel like this is the song that has haunted me. No pun intended, because of the lyrics later on. But like when I first heard the song, I first of all thought it was a lovely song, right? But it's very sad. Like, it's a very sad song, and it's about essentially like friendship, but essentially helping somebody or wanting to do the absolute most to get someone that you love out of a very difficult situation that they might find themselves in, right? And so with Seven, it's about her friend that's going through an abusive relationship at home, and she wants to do the best to help her friend. So she's suggesting all these things. We'll go to India forever, we'll go up the tree, like we'll do all these things, but you desperately want to help your friend. So this song always makes me cry. It's one of my favorite songs from the album, and it's beautiful. I think you should come and live with me, and we could be pirates and you won't have to cry. The irony of me listening to that song and like bawling. What? I don't know, it's just it's very like innocent and childlike, and like you just telling your friend like, girl, we can get out of here, like if you want to, like just say the word and we can be gone. Like just say the word, child, I'ma sort things out. You can be so young, be like, child, I'ma get the papers, I'ma get the we're gonna be on a plane tomorrow. Meanwhile you're like 7 years old. And you won't have to cry. So that song is very beautiful. Like there's no other things that I can say. Like it's a man, if I talk too much about it I'm going to cry again, and I don't think you guys want that. So let's move up to the next song.
Are you sure? Never have I ever before.
Right, we have Cardigan. Child, we have Cardigan, then we have August, then we have Betty. August is the middle person in between, the one that causes mischief, right? Whispers of Are You Sure? This Siri, play Illicit Affairs by Taylor Swift. Wait, I thought Siri was actually gonna do that, but like I always say random stuff like that. But like this is the mistress talking, right? Whispers of August. August slipped away into a moment of time. I wonder why, right? I wonder why. Back when we were still changing for the better. Meanwhile, you lot were... Anyways, guys, yeah. So August is obviously from the point of the mistress. Like, we have the Cardigan, the hurt, right? And then we get this. So it's very difficult to try and be empathetic to. But I still do it, you know? I still do it. You want my period. But you see, they know it, like you can't even like you can't even get attached. It's so funny. Does Illicit Affairs come? No, it would be too funny if Illicit Affairs came on after this song. But it's like you can't even get too attached, because at the end of the day, you know, you're the one that's the mistress. It's like you weren't mine to lose, and the one like cancel plans just in case you call you, bruv. Like, come on now, surely there should be better things to do with our time, because you're just waiting. You're like, oh my goodness, your life is put on pause, but the other person is just, they are out there doing their thing, you know, and your life is put on pause because you're in this relationship with someone. But like, obviously with being the mistress comes with like the sense of like not really knowing what's gonna happen, right? You weren't mine to lose, right? It's a mess, babes. It's a mess. Oh, back when I was living for the hope of, now there's no hope. Like, it leaves you on a somber note, man, and it's like, this is what happens. This is like a real life, real stuff. It's very hectic. The next song also feels like therapy, even though it's not, and we actually need help. No, me, I've been having a hard time adjusting. Like me, I've been having a hard time adjusting. The line that gets me is, and I got wasted like all my potential, and at least I'm this song is just an all-time sad song here, but like it's Taylor recognizing that she has made regrets. Like I have a lot of regrets about that, and you're literally trying here, but it's recognizing I'm trying, things are not working out, but what, at least I'm trying. That at least I'm trying. The thing that gets me is and it's hard to be anywhere when all I want is you, something along those lines. And it almost feels like she's trying to fit all of these things into a line, right? The way it almost sounds, right? Something isn't right, but you know what, at least she's trying. Genuinely, like, I feel like there's more that one could say about the song, but on its own it's already very impactful. Like, it just is. At least she's trying, babes. At least she's trying. To Taylor, to make me even consider, like, I'm like, you know what, maybe cheating isn't that bad. You know what, maybe cheating isn't that bad. I'm like, you know what, I can turn the other cheek. And that's the thing about illicit affairs, guys. Make sure nobody sees you leave. I saw that and I was like, no, pause. Why is that? No, at the end you genuinely like, what is this? Like, we've been partaking in these activities, but what is this? Genuinely, what on earth is happening? That line for me, I was like, this is very iconic. This is iconic behavior. I thought that was very beautiful, right? Because this idea of this, like, the relationship, this thing is done now, right? It's done out here, right? But what about this? What about me wanting to see those colors again? Yo, my voice. What about me wanting to see those colors again? I can't. You can't experience that. And the imagery, the you taught me a secret language. Like, this is between me and you. There's no one else that understands you the way you understands you the way I do, right? There's this a secret language. No, it's just the power that yields, and they know it too. For you, I would ruin myself a million little times, and now you just left like, okay, anyone else that I will interact with, I'm gonna compare them to you, and they're not going to even match up like anything. The experiences that we are having now, I'm not going to be able to compare that to anybody. Everybody else is going to fall short. So where does that leave me with? The godforsaken mess. It's true. Taylor, it's true. It's so messy. But the way in which this was written, I'm like, you know what? I might be able to condone it.
Damn well, for you I would ruin myself.
Yeah, no. Nope. It got a bit too personal.
Green was the color of the class where I used to read at Centennial Park.
Invisible String is a very beautiful song, and if you've seen like the reviews and you've seen like the stuff about it, it's about like they use the reference from Jane Eyre, right, about like an invisible string being connected to your rib to someone else. It's a very weird, vivid image, but Taylor, we love seeing the references, we love seeing the literature that's embedded within that, right? It's very beautiful. I love that. Also at the beginning, the start off with like full on just strings. I think that's really nice.
All along there was some invisible string.
Beautiful. The imagery that has, right? Not, I don't want to think literal, but just like this idea of like your paths are going to cross, and that like you guys can't be too far away from each other, because like you guys will eventually, you're always like, even though you're so far away, right, there's always this connector that's connecting you two. And I just think it's a beautiful image of even just like the two people being able to find their way back to each other, and you can never go too far. My string must be like, it must be broken, you know. I might just have to perform an operation. I'm not serious. No, I think this imagery is so beautiful.
Isn't it just so pretty to think?
And that's the thing, isn't it just so pretty? All along there was some, isn't it pretty to think? Just like imagine if it was like all the clues that I didn't see, all these little things that like you meet, say you meet the love of your life, and you guys are discussing and talking about certain things, and you realize, oh my word, I was at that place but I didn't see you there. Like I was at this place, you know, that person, I was at the, and so all these little things come up, and it's like, you know what, like again playing with this idea of like possibility, with the one being like it's the mischance, right? But then with this being like you are that person, like regardless of everything, you were that person. I just love that.
Tying you to me, chains around my demons.
It could be the same thing, right? But it's meaning different things in different contexts, right? So chains around my demons, right? Something wrapped around all my past mistakes, but then a string pulling me to you. It could be the string around the demons, it could be the string around the past mistakes, but it's this idea of being wrapped, and then this idea of being connected to someone. I think it's beautiful. Like, yeah, invisible string is very, very important to me. I freaking love that song.
What did you think I'd say to that? No one likes a bad woman. You made her like that.
Like, I find the interesting thing about the song is that like my initial opinion hasn't really changed. I still stick with like what I thought the song was about. The comments that Taylor's making on like the sexist ideas of like you like, there's nothing like about like the idea of like you made her like that, like you gaslight women into telling them that they're crazy, that their opinions are irrational, and then they start acting a little crazy, and you wonder why they did. Is because you convinced them that this is how they are. So I love the references that and the similarities, that not even like she's telling a story about this woman, but it's clear that you can see that you can draw the similarities to Taylor's life. So yeah, the idea doing your dirtiest work for you, like the way the media does this, they paint a picture of who someone's going to be, and then the people who sell like these ideas and sell the magazines and stuff, they just eat that up. So it's like they work hand in hand, this idea of fame, right? But then also the repercussions of bad publicity, they go together. They go together, guys. They go together, doing your dirtiest tricks for you. I feel like Mad Woman is very self-explanatory, and it serves its purpose. It's very well written. You can see it in the words. We don't need such a long analysis of that song because it's very evident in how it's done.
Some things you just can't speak about.
This song was a difficult one to get into, I can't lie. Like if you look back and you see the video, I was very like, I'm very confused. I was still very much confused, I can't lie. But I've read up some things, and some people were talking about how it could be related to COVID and stuff. But just like Doc, I think he's bleeding out. I don't know, like Epiphany is still one that I struggle with understanding. So if you guys know about that one, please actually put that one in the comments. That's probably one that I'm not going to do too much about, because generally I like it, but I'm still a bit confused as to what it's really about, and I would love some further insight about that song. It's still very beautiful, but I'm still confused. Only 20 minutes to sleep until you dream of some epiphany. Oh wow, it's beautiful, but it's very sad. Again, tell me what that one's about, guys. Only 17. I don't know anything, but I know I miss, yeah. No, honestly, guys, so Betty is the song, obviously, to close off the little 3-part series of events that happened between Cardigan, August and Betty. But the thing is, if you know, then you probably know the rundown of the song, but I'll just tell you I really enjoyed it. Again, I told you guys that I didn't clock the 3-way thing, but I pretty much got the gist of the song, right? James myself. You know what, me not to blame. That's basically Betty summarized is men are the problem. And you know what, when I heard that, I was like, yep, I agree. It's James' fault, like dead ass, it's James' fault. And that's how we conclude Betty. No guys, there's so much, people have done really good analogies of Betty, and I think that's one that I'm gonna leave it to the people to discuss that.
The devil's in the details, but you had a friend in me. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace?
Oh my gosh, so one of my friends on Twitter, she actually did she quoted, somebody was asking about these songs, right, and she quoted it. So I thought in the sense of like the normal like sense of like fame and stuff, of like not having security, peace, insecurity, like, and comfort in a relationship when it's so public, right? So maybe Taylor writing specifically about Joe in that relationship, right? But also one of my friends wrote something and I want to read it to you guys. It was so beautiful. I do want to give a trigger warning that I'm going to mention anxiety and depression, just to let you know. Yeah, so it says, I relate the song to how I view relationships in any context when you have anxiety or depression, because I constantly feel like I'm never enough or doing too much, and it's never what the other person wants or needs, quote unquote. The rain is always going to come if you're standing here with me. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to bed with a very heart, because this summarizes my thoughts. So it could be so many things of like things, or even like the anxiety that comes with fame, but just like the anxiety that you have knowing that you're never going to be enough for someone, and you're never going to be what, like, the perfect version of what that person deserves, right? And I can never give you peace. Like, am I going to accept the fact that you might one day resent me, and are you going to try to not resent me? Like, it's just,
the rain is always gonna come if you're standing with me.
it's that idea of, like, you know, in cartoons where it's like the rain is there and it's and like you're going and you're going and it's gonna constantly be there, and it's like, do you really want to step into this relationship? Like, I don't know if I can offer that to you. We know a hoax is something that's like not real, like a joke, like it's not real, right? Your faithless love's the only hopes I believe in. It's this relationship that's a mess, but you can't seem to get out of it because that's the only, like, that's what you know, right? So like standing on a cliff saying, like, give me a reason not to jump, in the sense of like, it's a very what I think of it anyways, like this hopeless relationship, and it's just bad for you. Like, the only way I would discuss it is toxic, but you're still in it. Like, why is that what you believe in? And it's super hectic that that's the way that, like, Taylor decides to end the body. Like, that's how she decides to end the album. Like, that's how you're gonna do it, babes? That's how you're gonna do it? Whoa.
Your part.
This was just as hard as when they pulled me apart. It's like, if we think of it, like, again, I know the thing is, this was my problem when I first reacted, right? I was doing it very based on Taylor's perspective, but if you do it out of like a different perspective and not Taylor's, right? I'm gonna first do it Taylor's. This is just as bad as when they pulled me apart. So like, if you think about the press and everybody just doing the worst to Taylor, she's like, this relationship and me being left bruised and scarred, right, emotionally, is just as bad as the public doing that to me. You're doing just the same, right? And it's like, if you can even think of it, not even related to Taylor, but it's like, you had a bad experience, and it's like, I'm comparing this to that. Like, you are not that different. It just shows you how much the weight of this relationship has, and how, like, affected she is by it. My Kingdom Come Undone, bro. My only one, almost like at the beginning, like the one, right? My only one. Then My Kingdom Come Undone. That's My Kingdom Come Undone. It's just this idea of this palace, this perfect, this, and then it's not. It really isn't. It's
you have beaten my heart.
It's this stuff like helplessness that you have, that like you've trained yourself to no other sadness in the world with you. Like you've become accustomed to feel that way in that relationship, that you're like, that's what I want, like that's what I want, that's what I deserve. The idea of like the heart, like the broken drum beat in my heart, like this idea of like when we love someone, like that's your heart, right? You feel your heart beat, and this idea of like beaten, just to show the visceral, like the idea of like the abuse and the toxicity within the relationship. Why did Taylor decide to end her album on this note? Like, it's so somber, it's so dark. I didn't clock that it ends so sad, hey. That's very sad to me, very sad to me. Oh my gosh, that's Folklore, guys. My album of the year. We'll see if it's the album of the year. It was my album of the year. It's my favorite body of work. It really did take a lot of warming up to. It took a lot of like getting comfortable with the album, but I'm glad that I did, because it was an experience, one that I'm so thankful to have had and to have gotten the chance to listen to. So yeah, guys, this was the album. If you enjoyed it, if you shared thoughts, and you thought like something similar, then please don't be afraid to comment down below your favorite song, obviously, and a moment in the video that you were like, oh, I completely see that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, again, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.